Yeah, Ken Moy with Masterworks, right?
Yeah, and I spelled Ken
Yes.
without an E. I mean, here's my name tag.
I like that.
I spelled Ken without an E. It's kind of the Chinese way of doing things. So
That's awesome.
And so I'm Chinese, and my parents sent me to Chinese school while young. I wasn't a very good student. I ended up having to take first year Chinese 2 years in a row, and so the lesson I'm gonna share this morning. You can ask any young Chinese student, and they'll share the same lesson with you. So one of the first two words that you learn in Chinese school are these words here. These are the first two words that every Chinese student learns, and it's the Chinese word for come, the Chinese word for go. Now, depending on your dialect, you pronounce lai, chu, or in my dialect, my home dialect is Cantonese. It's loi, hui. So it sounds very different. So in the Mandarin dialect, this is pronounced lai, chu. So Chinese is a pictographic language, meaning that words are combinations of little pictures, little symbols. So for instance, this is the word for peace. The word for peace is made up of this little character here is woman, and this little character here it's the symbol for house. A woman under a house, in a house, is the word for peace.
Oh.
So take the same little character, here's the word for woman. A woman, this is the character for woman. A woman alongside a child, and a child, this is our concept of good.
Whoa.
We define good as mean a woman and child is good.
Wow.
A woman under a house is the peace. So Chinese words are, this is how we form Chinese words. Well, my Chinese school teacher, in teaching us how to write the word come, this is what she said. She said, now, this little character here, this is the word for person.
Okay.
Man, not man versus woman, but person. And you look at a Chinese newspaper and you'll see this word for man all throughout the Chinese newspaper. It's one of the easiest words to recognize. So my Chinese school teacher taught us that the word for come is,
I got it. I learned it.
you start with a cross. You draw a cross first, and then you put a big man, or as she said, a very great man. You put a very great man on a cross, and then you put two lesser men at his side. This is the Chinese word for come.
Wow.
Now, this word existed 2,300 years before Christ. So this word is 4,300 years old. When I got to seminary, it was second year New Testament class, and we were in a section of the New Testament where the New Testament professor was describing the come.
Yes.
The come lessons of Jesus. And at the end of one class session, he said, if you could distill the message down of Jesus down into one word, what would that word be? And he said that word would be come.
Wow.
Come unto me.
Wow.
And so, again, but this word has existed in the Chinese language 4,300 years.
Wow.
Long before Christ even came, this word is, and this is the word today. I mean, there are simplified characters in Chinese that are written differently, but no, in China today, or Chinese all over the world, the largest group of people in the world are the Chinese, both in China and outside China right now, and they all know this word for come.
And you said just what God's doing in China right now. What were you saying about that in terms of the church?
The church. The Chinese church in the next 20 years will become the largest church of any nation.
Wow.
That's how fast the Chinese church is growing.
And so God planted the seed for that move 2,300 years before Christ.
What's God doing?
Yes. Man.
Has God been thinking about this since the very beginning of time?
Yes,
Maybe.
He has. Yes.
The Chinese are already sending missionaries out all over the world.
Man.
So.
And He's calling us to come with Him.
God always knows what He's doing.
Thank you so much, Ken.